Hey guys, I hope all is well. I'm just going to quickly tell you about my birth story. I know that I've been saying I'll put it up, but I haven't yet. And this is for Franco. I'll put one for Sarah later on, but I want to see if I can quickly remember everything that happened with Franco before I forget. So on the 9th of October, I started getting labor pains at 4:30, and these ones were not as bad as my Braxton Hicks that had been coming for a couple of weeks. I actually thought I was in labor a few weeks before it was that strong, and so I, 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 I thought this was, just something regular, but they kept on coming, and something told me it was the real thing. And then my husband kept on asking me, "Is this it?" I'm like, "Maybe," but I'd been saying that for weeks, so I wasn't really sure. But then I was 4 days late at this point, so because he was due on the 4th of no, the 5th of September, and this was Saturday the 9th. So this is 4 days later. So it went on for a couple of hours, and we started timing it with Ignacio's phone. And then we realized it was the real thing. He's there looking at me. And so we we decided. I called my sister and I told her this might be it. I'd already given her Sarah's bag for a few weeks back, just so she could be ready anytime. And we decided, okay, once they got constant, we called Kaiser, we told them the symptoms, and then they told us to come in. And especially because I had GBS with this baby, and so they needed to start antibiotics 4 weeks before the labors, 4 weeks, 4 hours before the labors, the delivery. And so they told us to come in so I could get checked. And so we did that at about, Ignacio, what time did we go? To the hospital at 8? At 8:30, yeah, we went to the hospital. We dropped Sarah off, went to the hospital. By that time I had already started contractions. Had been 4 hours going to five of contractions. And so we went to the hospital. We waited at the I feel like we had to register again. Did you feel that way? Because I thought it would be so quick. And I called in, I registered with Sarah. I called in three times. But then they spent so much time putting our information in. I remember I left to go to the bathroom, while she was still putting in the information. And I came back. I'm like, what is the point of pre-registering if they're not going to put all of that information in there? And so we, so finally everything got done and we were just waiting. And I'm going to try and add in some footage as I'm talking. That's as per this point. Hopefully I'll be able to add in the footage. My husband, I took a couple of videos with my husband's phone. They seem to have disappeared. I'm hoping we'll be able to recover them, but I don't know. But for the beginning of the labor and for part of the labor, we took some videos with his phone, and it seemed to have deleted most of them. Uh, no comment about that. But so yeah, so I'll try and add them in. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. If not, I will post another video with some of the videos from the labor and delivery. But so we so yeah, so they I finally got into triage, and I got my weight done, and then I got into one of the rooms, and then they came and checked me, and they were like, "Oh, you're 4 centimeters dilated." I was already 2 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced for like a week or two before. And so 4 centimeters, they're like, okay, we're gonna keep you because you have GBS, and we want to groupie strep, and we want to make sure that you get your antibiotics. And I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. And so I tell them, by the way, I have very tricky veins, and so I'm gonna need a smaller needle, or I'm gonna need somebody who really knows what they're doing. And once you administer the IV, I need I need the dose to be administered at a slow rate so that it doesn't blow my IV. She's like, oh, no, 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 I'm gonna try it myself. She tries, doesn't work. I'm like, okay. So they had to call was it the anesthesiologist? He had to come and put, the needle in himself, and he was busy. I don't know why they have so very few of those people in the hospital, one of them at the time. No, but no, I'm not talking about the epidural. He did the IV well, the IV on my arm. It was the same guy, yes. Ignacio, you're giving my story away before I say it. But anyway, so he came putting the IV pretty quickly. I'm already fidgety with needles, so you can imagine how crazy I was going. And so, yeah, he put it in. I'm like, okay, fine, put me on the monitor. Then there were, after a while, they said they had drawn my blood too before that. After a while, they're like, okay, we need to, we need to take you to, we don't want you to lose your labor room, so we want to take you there. So I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. By the way, we discovered that I left my sandals there later on when I was trying to check out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have my sandals. This was days later. Anyway, so we go to the labor and delivery room. Those rooms are amazing at Holy Cross. They are huge, and it was actually bigger than the other room that I was in with Sarah, which was already humongous. This one was extremely huge. I mean, huge room. I was very glad. And so yeah, we checked in there. They came and uh, they tried to draw my blood. It didn't work. I actually got stuck 6 times before they were able to draw my blood. They called someone from phlebotomy to come and just, draw my blood. And so, and for someone who hates needles, every time this happens, I don't know why it has to happen like this. But anyway, I got everything drawn, and then we got, I said, okay, I'm not gonna do the epidural. The anesthesiologist had asked me if I was gonna do it. I was like, no. He was like, why would you not want to? This was in triage when he had asked me that. I was like, I just want to see if things progress naturally. And so they asked us if we want to walk around, so we did for 45 minutes. And I think Ignacio lost that footage too. But Ignacio's phone, let me not say Ignacio, it's Ignacio's phone that has some issues. And so, yeah, so we walked around for a while, 45 minutes, and then we went back. They checked me. They're like, I'm sorry, you haven't, dilated any more than you were before. I'm like, okay, fine. They're like, do you want to walk again? I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't want to. Let me just sit down. And then I was like, okay, so I'm just going to continue of course, the antibiotics. I kept on getting them. And for those of you who don't know what group B strep is, it's just a bacteria that is usually there. It's most women have it, and it comes and goes, but it's for when the baby is passing through your birth canal, they're exposed to it. And even though it's not dangerous for us, for them, because their immune system hasn't been built up, then we want to make sure that I've gotten antibiotics, so whoever has it has gotten antibiotics, and so the baby doesn't get any infection from it. And you can have it with one baby, not have it with another baby. It's all fickle stuff. But so yeah, so we went ahead and yes, sorry, we went ahead and just decided to take things naturally, and then after when it reached, I think, 5 in the morning, 5:30, I was like, I can't do this anymore, and so I asked for the epidural. Which I wasn't going to ask for, but then I'm telling you, when things get thick, you will ask for things that you thought you wouldn't ask for. And I thought I'd be like my mom and my grandma. Oh, give birth in half an hour. My grandma had 13 kids. For my mom's side, everything will be okay. Oops. I had to forgive myself because it's just such a different lifestyle now. I was mostly sitting in the office before I stopped working, and then with my mom and my grandma. My grandma was in the farm. My mom was walking all the time. She was a teacher, and so it's just a different lifestyle. It makes sense that they were so active that their labors would probably be short, and that's how it worked out for them. And I just told myself, this is not going to work out for you the same way. And so it didn't. I told myself that afterwards. It's just to accept that this is how things are. And so yeah, we went ahead and I asked for the epidural. They came. The same anesthesiologist was there. He came and did it, but he was like, I don't think that thing is, it's set right. It was painful. And I was like, okay, no problem. So as I'm realizing that something's wrong. It's not working. It is not working. The epidural is not working. And so I kept on saying, this doesn't feel right. Because with Sarah, it worked. And, when they checked me, no problem. And then they decided to break my water. I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing then. They broke my water, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. As my daughter says, in your mind. It was not in my mind. It was reality. And I felt as though my world was crushing. I mean, I can't even describe how it felt after that. It was an out of body experience. People say they feel out of my friend Barbie. I hope you don't mind me mentioning you here, but she felt like she left her body, saw herself, came back in. I mean, there's no word in this world to describe labor and to describe what a delivery feels like. And it's different for different people, but it's still an out of body experience. And so once they broke my water, this was at 5:30 in the morning. I just I we were praying. I was crying. It was nothing like with Sarah, even before the epidural, I was humming, like with this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't, and so I kept on calling my husband's name. The nurse was like, don't call your husband's name, just breathe. I want you to breathe and relax through. There's no breathing and relaxing through. And afterwards, I did ask her whether she has kids, because it's until you've experienced labor, it's very hard. And I understand she has to keep me calm. So I do understand that, and I'm very appreciative that she was trying to keep me calm. It's just very hard to keep calm at that time. And so we just kept on praying, and I kept on telling my husband I want to go home. And in my I wasn't thinking, how are you going to go home with this pain? First of all, you're never going to be allowed to go home. And so yes, we kept on trying and trying for hours, and I kept on asking them to please check me. And then they tried to flip me over to the side. It was so painful to flip, and the pain became more intense. I should say pressure wave, because I was trying to keep myself positive. So pressure wave. So yes, the pressure waves became intense, and so we. So I was like, no, I can't do this. I tried to put a balloon through my thighs to make it, to make me feel more comfortable. It was making me worse. And in fact, it was making Franco worse, because every time they tried to put me on my side and the pressure was more intense, he was starting to lose oxygen. He didn't like it at all. His heart rate dropped. And so yeah, so they so I told them I have to come back. They made this sort of come back this way, to the center, and they sort of made the bottom part of my bed descend so that it could help him drop down as well. I could feel everything. So obviously epidural didn't work, and so it was so different than Sarah's birth. And I told my husband, if this had happened, if I had him first and experienced this first, I don't think would have had that second baby. And so I'm glad I had a good experience with Sarah, even though I labored for 10 hours before asking for an epidural. But so yes, so it came the time, it came to a point where I was like, okay, too much water is coming out. I need to be checked. I need to be checked. So eventually they're like, oh yeah, you're like, 9 centimeters dilated. And then things got good. I mean, things got good in the sense of, I was like, thank goodness this is about to end. And the doctor, they said they were going to alert the doctor. One of the doctors came and checked me, and she was like, oh, maybe yeah, we can pull, I don't know. So I don't remember what they said. But then the Kaiser doctor came, and they were like, they were getting ready to push, we're gonna bring this baby into this world. And so I pushed and pushed for a long time, and there were a lot of embarrassing things that were happening as I was pushing, and a bunch of you probably know what I'm talking about. And I was just apologizing to the nurse and apologizing to my husband. They're like, no, 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 don't worry, that nothing is happening. I'm like, I know it's happening because I can feel it. Um, and it's TMI, so I don't want to mention it. But so we pushed, we pushed. I was just, crying, screaming through. I don't want to say screaming. I really wasn't screaming, but I was much more louder than I was with Sarah. With Sarah, like I said, I was humming, and by the time I got the video, I wasn't even making any noise. I was just, pushing quietly through, smiling, and it was just fine. But yeah, with him, it was real. I felt the burn. It was like somebody threw gasoline in me and lit me up. And that ring of fire thing that they talk about here, I finally felt it. And so we pushed, we pushed. This time, those, oh, Ignacio played classical music, which really helped me, you know, sort of like try to calm down, even though things were really intense. I'm so thankful that he was playing classical music in the background. Last time we had Bob Marley and the Rocky music, and that's what Sarah came to, which was so interesting. But yeah, we were pushing, and you know, it reached a point I was so tired. I was exhausted, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. And they're like, my husband's like, yes, yes, we can do this. I was like, are you sure the baby's coming? The time when I asked that, I'd been pushing for such a long time, and they were like, yes, but I wasn't believing them. They're like, no, yes, he's coming, feel it. And I put my hand there and I could feel him. I was like, yes, I can, even though my body was shaking, and um, there's nothing like it in this world. I said, okay, fine, I can do this. I feel his head, I feel it. And I pushed, and they're like, yes, push into the burn. And I did it, and he came out, and they're like, get ready to hold him. And they placed him on my chest and my stomach. And there are no words to describe that feeling when they put that baby on you. He was warm and crying and wriggly, and oh my goodness, it was the most beautiful feeling on this planet. I'm so grateful. As much as the experience was intense, I'm so grateful. And afterwards, of course, they came and pushed my stomach. I had to deliver the placenta, and then they had to stitch me up. Unfortunately, they gave me morphine because my epidural didn't work. With Sarah, when they stitched me up, I felt nothing, but they had to inject me this time to numb me. They gave me morphine, it didn't work. They injected me down there, it didn't work. So I felt every single needle prick as they were stitching me for what, half an hour? They were like, are you sure it's not pressure? I'm like, no, I'm feeling everything. The numbing injections did not work. So I felt everything. So this birth was intense. It was incredible. I was having an out of body experience. I told people that I spent 17 hours with the Lord, and then I came back. Um, I just, there are no words to describe birth, but it's the most amazing thing you can do. I just that just no words. And my husband keeps on saying that he respects women so much now because he's witnessed it, and I'm so glad I was able to share that experience with him and with all of you. And I, I just want to thank you for listening to my story, my birth story, and I'll keep you posted about different things. Right now, I'm, pumping and feeding the people. The doctors keep on saying he's now 13, almost 13 pounds, and they're like, and he's just what, 4 or 5 weeks old, and he was born at 8 pounds 6 ounces, bigger than Sarah. Sarah was 7 pounds. 6 ounces or 12, 8 ounces. I don't remember exactly. I'll find out. But yeah, now he's already 13 pounds. The doctors keep on saying, are you making ice cream with your breast milk? But I'm using this hospital grade pump right here. And so it's Medela Symphony. I mean, it's amazing. And it really helps me quickly. Within 5 minutes, my bottles are filled up after I've fed him. And so I've stored a lot of stuff in my freezer for him, especially for days when I'll be out. It just breaks my heart to be away from him. And one of the biggest things I was worried about, just to end this, was, am I going to be able to love a second baby the way I love Sarah? And the love is there. The love is there. It's unbelievable. For all you women out there who are questioning whether you'll be able to love your other baby as much as you love your first or your second, however, whatever the lineup is, yes, 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 it's there. The hugs, the cuddles, the snuggles, the baby smell. It just it's amazing. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to always keep you updated about baby Franco, baby Sarah. She's so excited to be a big sister, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to continue with us on this journey. And once again, thank you for joining us. If it's your first time, welcome to Glimpses of Iggy and Eve. I think this is the longest video I'm ever going to put up because usually our videos are actually glimpses, like little short snaps of our lives. And so thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Please subscribe or like our video. I know it was lengthy, but there's no way of shortening this descriptions of birth and labor and birth. And so I thank you for hanging in there and for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you next time. See you then. Have a great day. Bye.